Welcome to the Transformational Soul Show with your host, Ruth Soltman. Are you ready to experience more stability in your life? You can change your life and be who you are meant to be, your authentic self.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Transformational Soul. My name is Ruth Soltman, and I want to welcome you here tonight if you are watching live, or if you are watching the replay. I appreciate that as well. We are streaming live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and X. If you are here, please say hello in the chat. I would love to hear from you. And please, if you would, hit the like or the thumbs up button and share and retweet the show. I greatly appreciate that as well. Hello, Richard. Nice to see you. Hello, Joyce. Welcome. I invite you to check out my website, ruthsoltman.com. It's RUTH, S as in Sam, OL, T as in Tom, M as in Mary, A, N as in Nancy.com. And you can go to my website and find out about my books, my services, and my oracle cards. I also invite you to come and join the Goldylocks Productions group on Telegram. We have an amazing group over there. You will see tons of familiar faces. We have, we share daily, hourly. We share all the time. You will also get the updates, like if a show is canceled that day, you will get the update on there like immediately. So I really highly encourage you to come on there because there's so much wonderful information that we share, and a lot of it is stuff that you're not going to find on different social media. So, different things. So come and check that out. And Tiffany put the link up there for that. All you got to do is click the link and it'll go right to the group. And also, don't forget to check out the Goldylocks Productions Oracle cards, Energize. They're a beautiful, beautiful deck of cards, and you can order them and have them for yourself. It was a joint effort of all the show hosts. We came up with some different quotes or sayings or thoughts, and then Tiffany got these great images, sacred geometry, and she put everything together, and they look absolutely beautiful. And you will see all of us using them on our shows. If you would like to give a tip or a donation, you are more than welcome to do that. It is greatly appreciated. You can do that via my Venmo. You can do a Rumble rant on Rumble. You can do a super chat or a super sticker on YouTube. Your tips and donations are very much appreciated. It does help to cover the cost of my show, so I really, that really helps out a lot. If you do a donation through Venmo during the show, then please put it in the comments and let me know, because what I generally do is I'll give you a little bit longer message, and you will move to the head of the line when I do messages. And I would like to say thank you very much to Joyce for her donation just before the show. I greatly appreciate that, Joyce. So I have you down number 1 for your message. Thank you so much. I want to wish a very happy birthday to my granddaughter, Maddie, who celebrated her birthday on Sunday. And it was a big one because she officially became a teenager. So I remember that. I was so excited. I was excited when my age was a double digit. I remember that was like a huge thing back then. So happy birthday to Maddie and to everyone who is celebrating a birthday this week. I also want to wish a very happy heavenly birthday to my dad. Today would have been his 85th birthday. So happy birthday, Dad. And let's send out some love, light, and healing to Robin McGuire and her son, Carol Ann Carey's daughter, Carrie, G. Brian Benson, Veronica, Holly and her family, Kim, Maureen, Brandon, Jamie, and Jackson, and to all those who are in need. I hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. Saturday morning, my weekend kicked off really well. I got to go to my granddaughter Charlotte's championship basketball game. It was the championship. Charlotte's 6 years old, and this was her first time playing basketball. And I just want to say congratulations to Charlotte and her team. Way to go, because they came in first place. It was so exciting. So exciting. So now she has signed up for the next session. And it's really cute watching her play. She's the only girl on her team. I give her a lot of credit for that. There's a lot of girls who wouldn't be comfortable with that. But she is. And she just, she plays her little heart out there. And it's so cute because her mom, my daughter Kristen, also played basketball when she was in high school. And some of the moves that Charlotte has, it's just like watching Kristen all over again. So it's really cute. And I guess after basketball, she's talking about wanting to play volleyball. So that's pretty exciting. All of my grandkids seem to be pretty busy with different activities like that. I think that's great. So I noticed, well, let me tell you first of all, the energy's insane. I watch that Schumann resonance all the time, and for the last several days, it's been around 50 something, which is high, right? And I got on there this morning and looked, and it's 82. So we've got a lot of powerful energy coming in. I was telling Tiffany right before the show that I've had a lot of problems with electronics today, a lot. And she said that she read that because of the solar flares, that could be a common thing. I've had problems with texting on my phone. My phone app won't stay open. I've had problems on my computer, problems trying to get the TV to work when I was trying to put something on for the kids. I mean, it was really crazy. So if you guys are experiencing anything like that, know that that's probably very likely what it is, between that and all of this other energy that we've got coming in. If you've been really tired, that, it can affect us that way as well. And we know this. I was just saying today that I would love to get one really good night's sleep. I feel like I haven't had one in several months, because either I can't go to sleep, or I fall asleep and then I wake up over and over all night, or I just wake up and I don't feel rested. I really want and desire, so I'm putting this out there, a really good night's sleep and wake up and feel rested and refreshed. And I'm sure a lot of people feel like that too. I noticed the last few days that I've been drinking probably twice as much water as I was. It's very warm here. The heat index has been like 112, 114. So it's been very, very warm. Joyce said her phone had a lot of static today. Yeah. See, so you guys are experiencing this too. Now, something that I've been seeing a lot lately, I was talking about the weather, how hot it is. So I have been drinking a lot more water. And I've been very adamant about the Celtic sea salt, because I have been sweating a lot. Last night when I went to bed, just all of a sudden, I felt like I had a fever and chills. And it was so funny, because I was like so cold. I had the blanket on me. I couldn't even turn my fan on. And it's been hot as blazes here. So to feel cold like that, and in a way it was kind of a relief, but I just couldn't like regulate my temperature or something for a while. It took a little while, but then I was fine. It was very strange. Hello, Heather. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Something I have been seeing a lot lately on social media is people abandoning their animals. I can't even tell you how it's like, it feels like a knife in the heart when I see these videos, because they'll get people on video because they do it in a place where there's cameras. Um, and it's just the saddest thing to me what these poor little animals must think. I saw one where the woman dumped her dog and she got back in the car and took off, and the poor little dog was running after the car. I mean, that is just like heartbreaking. And I just can't even stand that. So if you have animals that you cannot keep any longer, or for whatever reason you need to find them a new home, please try to find them a new home. Don't just dump them. And if you can't, I mean, there's always the animal shelter. But, if you put feelers out there, a lot of times you're going to find someone who'll be able to take those animals off your hands. Hello, Carol Ann. It's nice to see you. And hello, Richard and Joyce. I don't know if I mentioned that. Another thing that has been coming up a lot lately is a lot of people have been transitioning. Now, sometimes it's people that, they're relatives or friends of people that I know personally, and sometimes it's like social media friends. But I have been seeing it a lot again. So there are a lot of people that are leaving this earth at this time. Back in 2020, I remember this was before, this was like in the summer of 2020. One of my cousins, who was a few years younger than me, so at that time he had to have been in his early, maybe like his early or mid 50s or something. They just found him. He was gone. And that I know of, they never determined, what caused that. So it can happen to anyone at any time. And it's something we really should be mindful of, because we should live our life based on that fact that we're not going to be on this earth forever. What kind of impact do we want to leave? What do we want to instill in our loved ones? But we're always going to have some degree of loss in our lives. Always. It's just human nature. It's just part of this human life. Whether it's relationships or people we love or even our fur babies. It shows us how much we loved, right? When we have that, when we grieve. We wouldn't be grieving if we didn't feel a sense of loss because of the love and, wonderful memories that we had with that person. And it can take a while to work through that loss of a loved one. It can sometimes, it can take years sometimes. Sometimes people never recover. But you have to work at that. You have to work at working through the grief, working through working through the anxiety. Good night, Richard. Have a great night at work. Thank you so much for being here. But you have to work through that. Now, grief and loss leaves us heartbroken. It makes us feel shattered sometimes, like our whole world is shattered, like our heart is shattered. It's different for everyone, and each of us react to it differently. Each of us feel it and experience it differently. We have to work through it, though, so that we can become whole again. Because when we lose a loved one, we don't feel like we're whole. We feel like we're broken up into pieces. And a lot of times we think, how, am I going to put these pieces back together? But we can, and we do. And let's see, something else I thought that just came to me. And it doesn't matter if you had a great relationship with someone or a terrible relationship. Sometimes the grief is worse when you've had a bad relationship. Maybe you haven't spoken to the person for several years over, something that you got angry about or that they got angry about. Hi, Chi. Nice to see you. And so you have all of that feeling of despair, I guess, maybe some hopelessness, because you probably thought all along, we'll work it out one day. We'll work it out one day. Maybe that person was abusive to you or mean to you during your life. And you always thought things could change. You always had that hope, but they never did change. And that could be a totally different kind of grief. Then it could be someone who is part of your life 24/7. Um, and that would be a different kind of grief as well. But we each experience our grief differently because we're all individual people. Um, I remember when my grandma passed away, I felt so terrible that I was the only family member that wasn't there when she took her last breath. And for years, that bothered me. At the time, I lived out of state, and, we didn't know the moment that it was going to happen. So to keep going back there wasn't feasible. And I was young, and I had my daughter Amanda, and let's see what. So I was very young when that happened, but I was very close to my grandma, so it really kind of hit me hard. And over the years, as I was working through things in my life and doing my healing, one thing that I realized was that I wasn't there because I wasn't supposed to be there. I don't know the reason why. Maybe it would have been too much for me because I was pregnant with my second child at the time. This was the first time I had lost a loved one. And, it was my grandma. We were very close. Um, all I do know is that I was not meant to be there at that moment. And, that was a hard thing to swallow. But after a lot of my healing work and everything, I learned to accept that. And I accept that I was not supposed to be there for whatever reason. And I know that several of my friends experienced the loss of a loved one during the pandemic and were not allowed to see their loved ones during their final hours. And I know it was devastating for a lot of people. Now, it's sometimes difficult for us to believe that everything happens for a reason, but it truly, truly does. Now, sometimes, later on, we might learn what that reason is, and sometimes we never know. But that doesn't make it any less true that everything happens for a reason. Things always transpire for our best and highest good. Now, my dad's transition was very different than my grandma's. He said that when it was his time, he wanted to go just with my mom in the room with him, holding her hand. They were the love of each other's lives. They were together since they were like teenagers. And they had a really strong love and a strong bond. And that is exactly what happened. We had a lot of loved ones around that week, coming and going, people in and out, coming to see him, seeing if they could do anything to help out. And then that morning, everybody had left, and I went to jump in the shower. Well, when I came out and I walked by his room, my mom was sitting there holding his hand. And she said, she goes, I'm just waiting for him to take his next breath. So as I stood there and watched, he had already taken his last breath. And it was just so perfectly beautiful at what he described he wanted. And it's exactly what he had, exactly how it went for him. And I just thought that was just, really incredible. Hello, Melissa. But I was able to take comfort in the joy of knowing that, he wasn't in that disease-ridden body anymore. I knew where he was and that he was full of joy and that he was happy and he was no longer in pain and no longer agonizing over his body that did not work for him anymore. He loved so much and he loved so hard. And that love of his lives on. It lives on in my heart, in the heart of those people that he touched and those that he loved and that loved him. And it lives on in the memories that we share with him. And that will always remain, even though he's physically gone from the earth. And it's the same like that for any of our loved ones. We'll always have those memories of wonderful times that we shared. And we will always have that love. And as long as we're always, as you know, we have to, well, as long as we talk about them and we bring up those memories and we tell those stories, that keeps that spirit alive in our hearts. I can still feel him around me, especially this time of the year. I always feel him around a lot around his birthday and then Christmas time. Christmas was his favorite. And I know he visits his great grandchildren because I have witnessed them seeing him, even as far as one of them that said, "Hi, Papa," which they never even met him, didn't know that that's what his grandchildren called him. So, I mean, it was him. And knowing that he's around, keeping an eye on them, comforting them, that's a great comfort. And that's what our loved ones do. They're always around us, always. Now, my mom's transition was different than the other two altogether. My mom went a lot sooner than we thought she would. There weren't the usual indications, like seeing or talking to loved ones that have crossed over. When my grandpa was towards the end, he was kind of in and out of it all the time. And he would just wake up and ask my mom who all these people were that were in his room. And then there's this one little girl that he would talk about a lot. So we don't really know who he was seeing, but there were people coming there to see him, and probably just waiting to take him to the other side. My dad sat as like the last couple of weeks of his life, he was pretty in and out of it with medication and stuff. They had a very difficult time keeping his pain under control. And so he was really woozy and stuff from medication. But he would sit there, or not sit there, be laying there in bed, and it looked like he had an ice cream. I mean, he'd hold his hand like he had an ice cream cone in it, and he was licking the ice cream cone. He was playing cards, and he was going through all the motions without the cards there, and he was playing with his grandpa. And it was pretty neat to see stuff like that, because if you didn't really know anything about the afterlife or people who have crossed over, I mean, you watch something like that, it's a really, really great validation, I feel. But my mom didn't do any of that. She didn't, seeing loved ones or anything. She just woke up on a Sunday morning and said, "Ruth, I think I'm having a heart attack." And I said, "Okay, I'm going to call 911. Took her to the hospital, and it was actually one of her lungs had collapsed. And the doctors told her that they could drain it, but it was just going to collapse again. So she said, "No, just forget it. I'll go home." And they told her it was time to call in hospice. Then they put her on oxygen to help her breathing because her oxygen levels were pretty low. And they come right out to the house. The hospice nurses are amazing, the ones that we dealt with anyway. The nurses told my mom that if she wanted to continue all the medications that she was taking on a daily basis, that she could, that it didn't really matter. It was totally up to her. So she stopped taking all of her medication for diabetes, high blood pressure, and so on. Now, I'm not going to say that I agree that she was on medication for specific diseases, because all of the things like that she took daily medication for could have been handled naturally. Okay. So, but she stopped taking them all. She hated taking a handful of medicine every day. But within a week, she had a stroke, and it affected the left side of her body. And a few days later, she transitioned. She wouldn't have wanted to live in her body like that. There was a lot of stuff she couldn't do then. Things were very difficult for her. She even had a hard time talking, so it was real hard to understand her the last several days. Um, and she decided it was her time. She had had a lot of health issues ever since she was a teenager. And when she was actually like diagnosed with the C word, she her experience with that was totally different than my dad's. My dad was in enormous pain for a long, long time. They couldn't get his pain under control for probably over a month. My mom never had pain. Not from that. She had her usual stuff like with her arthritis and all that, but not from her terminal illness, let's say. Now, just like we are all each unique individuals, we are also different. The experience that we have on this earth is very different from the next person's, right? And just like this experience, this part of our journey, this part of our path is different from everyone else's, our journey home is going to be unique to us as well. A lot of people may have some similar experiences, but it's going to be very specific to each person, just like every experience that we have here. I've often heard people say that we choose when we make our transition. And that makes a lot of sense to me because, we sit down with our team before we come here. We set out a plan. We map out everything, what lessons we want to learn, choosing the family that we're born into. So it only makes sense, right, that we would devise our exit strategy then as well. But one thing that's really important to remember is we choose those things for ourselves. We do not have a right to infringe on someone else's decisions regarding any of those choices, whether they're the choices of what they do, while they are here on earth in their physical body, or what they want to do when they're no longer breathing. Don't let anyone infringe on what you want. Only you know what is best for you. Only you know. I knew this woman who she did not want to have a funeral. She just wanted to have like a memorial service or whatever. She did not want a viewing, nothing. But family members pressured her into it. So she did it for the family. Now, personally, I feel like, that's your choice. That's your call. Don't ever let anyone pressure you into doing anything, because that only takes away your power. Hello, Lenka. Nice to see you. I got to start writing some of these names down. Joyce keeps going back in and out. Wow, that's kind of on par with the problems I was having, with electronics today. It's been really, really bizarre. Okay, I got everybody, I think. So don't let anyone take away that power. Don't let anyone take away that authority. You are free to choose what is best for you. You are not free to choose what is best for anyone else. Oh. Gee, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Lenka. I greatly appreciate that, Chi, and I've got you on the list. You are number 2. And we don't know another person's purpose. A lot of times it takes us a long time to figure out our own. So you don't want to do anything that might interfere with someone else's purpose, what they are here to do, or what they might be here to experience. A lot of times, and I know this, from my perspective as a mom, I like to do things for my kids. I like to do things for my grandkids. But I have to remember that, I mean, that's the way I think that one of the ways that I like to show love is by doing for others. Um, and one thing I've always had to be mindful of is to not do so much that I take away from them learning how to do it. Um, it's kind of like, I don't know, this story just came to mind, but and just left that quick, that quick. Um, but, we have to empower others to do things for themselves, to find their own way, not put them on a path and say, here, this is where you're going to go. This is what you're going to do. Those choices have to be up to the individual person. Just like we would not want anyone to, make those choices for us. We have to be mindful. We have to be respectful. And we have to know that whatever they choose is going to be for their best and highest good. We don't know what lessons anybody else is here to learn, do we? No, none of us. A lot of times, we don't even know what lessons we're here to learn until, things start to happen. But so it's very important not to, interfere in other people's decisions. Now, if somebody asks you your opinion, that's one thing. Doesn't mean they're going to take your opinion. Doesn't mean they're going to like it. But maybe it's something you have some experience with. So they're like, hey, I just want to see what you think about this. And, that might help them make their decision. But one way I've always known that a decision was for my best and highest good is when I had two choices. And you know how that feeling you get, when you have to make a decision and you're kind of weighing the pros and the cons, or thinking, should I go this route? Should I go this route? And you have that really uneasy feeling. Okay, so pick one and just feel the energy of your decision. Feel what it would be like if that was the route you took. If you get a really uneasy feeling, then that's not the right one. You want to pick the other one. But when you make your decision and you have this peaceful feeling, it gives you this calmness, then you've made the right decision. And, you have to listen to your gut instinct. You have to listen to your gut. You have to let that come from your gut and not your head. And that's another way that I can always tell if I'm listening to my intuition. Because once I make that choice, there's just such a sense of peace. And you get this feeling of, once you made the decision, it's like there's no looking back now. When it's been the other way, where, I try to think too much into it instead of listening to my intuition, and I would pick the decision that my head might be telling me, I would still have that uneasy feeling. I would still keep thinking, well, maybe I should do the other one. No, I don't know. And be really wishy-washy about it. But anytime I've made a decision through my intuition, it's always given me that peace of mind, and the feeling of not wanting to look back, not wanting to say, oh no, maybe that's not the right decision, because it was such a feeling inside of calmness, inner peace, confidence in the decision, that, there was no doubt that was the right way to go. No doubt at all. So I don't like to see people who bully their family into doing things. And if you really pay attention to things that are said and things that are done, whether it's in conversations with your families, friends, or just people out in public, people can bully other people without it seeming like they're being bullied. It's more like they're being manipulated. But it really comes down to, bullying. It's still the same thing. Just be mindful of your words. If you're trying to assist others, be mindful of your words, that you don't you don't want to sound like you're trying to tell them what to do, but we can definitely assist others when they ask. It's just like with our angels. They don't intervene unless we ask. We have to start learning not to intervene in the lives of our loved ones unless they ask for our opinion, right? And most of the time they do. Most of the time people will ask for assistance if they need it. So just be mindful of that. And you guys, I'm being reminded to drink a lot of water. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. I think I might have missed some people here. Hello, Heidi. Nice of you to sneak in. Haven't seen you in a while. And Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Okay. I am going to give some messages. And I'm going to start with Joyce. Joyce. And my dog is going to drive me crazy. She's so quiet the whole time that we're in here until I start talking and stuff on my show, and then she doesn't shut up. I think she's got a lot to say, I guess. Poor baby Jackson. He's 11 months old, and you can tell he has a lot he wants to say. And he's not talking yet. He'll make sounds, but he gets so frustrated that all he does is, if he wants something, or he's trying to move a toy, or, he wants more of something, all he does is holler. Ah! That is about it. But he's an absolute sweet little thing. And he's already going to be a year old next month, which is so hard to believe. Shh. Okay, so what message do we have for Joyce? Oh, I'm going to turn the cards over. Joyce. This is interesting. Joyce, it says, from whom can I release my judgment right now? Now, I don't feel like you're a real judgy person, but sometimes maybe we have preconceived ideas about people, which I guess technically that's what judgment is. But I don't mean like in a mean way. It's only normal. We can see someone walking down the street and we get an immediate impression of them. To me, that is not a judgment. And as empaths, a lot of times we can see someone walking down the street and we feel their energy, so we know a lot about them already. And I don't consider that to be a judgment either. But sometimes I feel like maybe you're a little bit harsh with yourself. Not with other people, but with yourself. So I feel like you need to be kinder to yourself. Give yourself more room. Give yourself more freedom. Whatever that means to you. And okay, the other card I pulled for you is number 45, and it says beyond the ordinary, which is exactly what you are. You are extraordinary. Extraordinary in everything that you do. You love deeply. You are very kind and compassionate. You love animals. And I still feel like you need to be journaling. I don't know if you are, but I get that impression for you all the time. Hey, this is a beautiful, beautiful card. It says, let love guide you. Let love guide you, Joyce. And it says, choose to see the good in the world today. You know, I'm really happy this card came up because I was thinking about this the other day. There is so much good in the world. If you just turned on the news, and it's always like this, not just in this day and age, but I can remember when I was a kid. You turn on the news, all you hear is about all the terrible things that have happened or that are going on in the world or in your area. And if that's all that you went by, you would think we lived in this scary, horrible place. But when you look at things through the eyes of love and you expand your horizons and the areas where you are looking, then you're going to see a lot more. I have always believed that humans are basically good, that we are born that way. And then, I don't know what happens to some people, but they're just a reminder to look for the good in the world today. And I know that you look for the good all the time, and you've always posting pictures of beautiful flowers that you see during your walks, and look for rainbows, look for beautiful colors. Hello, Sam. Look for beautiful people to cross your path, because I feel like that's all coming to you. I feel like there's going to be some new people coming around. So I hope that resonates with you, Joyce. Now, Chi. See what we have for you. Oh, this is fun. What passion am I ready to pursue? What is it that you love so much that when you are doing it, and sometimes even just when you start thinking about it, but when you are really doing it, it lights a fire in your soul, Chi. What is that thing? Now, it could be more than one thing. So, write a list of things that really stir a passion in you. And that's where you want to put some of your energy. Maybe you love to paint. I don't know. But whatever nudging you feel, and it could be something new too. It could be something that you have heard of, that every time you think about it, you get really excited, but you've never even tried it. Could be something brand new. Put some energy into that. Put energy into it. And when you start doing those things, your world's just going to explode, because you're going to feel joy and satisfaction like you never have before. And the other card I got for you, Chi, is number 32, quieting the mind. Meditate. Meditation is good for everyone. It's wonderful when you can sit in that place of quietude where you don't have all the sounds of, the city, all the sounds of whatever, is your animals or children or traffic. And you can sit even with those sounds. Like, say you're in the park and there's kids going by, or airplanes flying by, or dogs barking. When you are meditating and you are in that place, you don't even hear that stuff. You just totally tune it out. And it's such a peaceful feeling. I know, and I've said this many times, when I first started meditating, I'd always fall asleep. I was so relaxed that I would just fall asleep. But then after a while, you train yourself. Okay, so the other card I got for you, Chi, is number 10. And it says, disappointment is not the end. A lot of times disappointment can be the beginning because it makes us try harder. But it says there is hope even in the darkest of nights. There is always hope. Always. So I hope that resonates with you, Chi. Richard. What do we have for Richard? Let's see. Which ones do I feel? I don't know. This one, I think. Okay. Richard. Richard. Your card is number 48. It says, a burst of magic. You are welcome, Chi. A burst of magic. And what I feel for you is, there's magic all around us if we're paying attention. Watching a flower bloom, that's a magical experience, right? There are all these things that we come in contact with in our daily lives that are magic and magical. Sometimes they can be people. Sometimes, it's usually something from nature. But sometimes we have to create that magic for ourselves. And sometimes when we create that magic for ourselves, it spills over to other people. So think of ways that you can show other people how magical this world is. How every day is a miracle. That's a big task, Richard. But you know what? I remember that card I got for you before. You can do hard things. It just came to my mind. And I think that might have been last week. You are very powerful. You are more than capable of showing others the magic in life. So I hope that resonates with you, Richard. Heather. Heather. What do we have for Heather? Heather. This is an interesting card. It's number 31. And it says, Call of the Muse. Call of the Muse. And at first, the first impression I got was, what things in your life what things in your life, what are you being inspired by? What, to do certain things or to try certain things. What is it that is inspiring you? But what I really feel is, who are you inspiring? I feel like there are some people that really look up to you. Maybe it's your daughters. And I feel like you inspire them to go above and beyond. So you are the muse for them. And now this could be through your work situation as well. I don't know. But I totally feel that you are a muse for someone else, meaning that just being you, just by who you are, you are inspiring others. So that's awesome. Keep on doing that. Joyce said, your message was spot on, and over the weekend may have carried out how I responded too far, as I knew something about a situation intuitively, brought that Aries personality out. Thank you. I love you. I love you too. Hello, Devin. Look at this. Boy. Welcome. Good to see you. So that was Heather. And now we have Miss Carol Ann. And Carol Ann, I don't know if you guys know this, but she has a show on Goldylocks on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's called In the Psychic Flow. And sometimes she does crystal ball readings. Sometimes she does She connects with your loved ones that have crossed over. It's always a lot of fun. So I urge you guys to check her out. Carol Ann, your card is number one, just like you. Numero uno. And it's earth magic. Earth magic. And if it's not too hot out for you, I think you need to be outside. I know you spend a lot of time out there with the dogs and with your gardening, and I feel like that is so healing for you. I know it probably takes a lot out of you because it's hard work. Gardening is a lot of work, and especially if the heat you're having in Florida is like we're having here, you don't even want to be outside, walking from the house to the car, much less be out there, working. I don't know how people work, out in this heat, whether it's construction, road crew. I don't know how they do it. But I feel like all of that, there's a lot of magic in the earth. And I feel like when you are gardening, it not only is it healing for you, but I feel like it's inspiring you to do something. Or maybe while you're there, it's kind of almost like a meditative process because you're just there doing your gardening and, your mind is kind of like in that meditative place. And a lot of times, thoughts will come to you, ideas will come to you. So keep on doing that. Okay, now we have Melissa. Melissa has her show on Fridays. Yes, Heidi said, love gardening. It's so grounding. It is. And now I know not everyone can do this where they live, but if you can go out there barefoot, walking around on the ground, oh, the energy is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Melissa has her show Friday nights at 8 p.m. and that would be Joyful Findings. Melissa has a lot of energy. She does a lot of artwork. She gives fantastic messages. You guys should check her out. Okay, Melissa. Number 33, Melissa. And it says, ears wide open. Ears wide open. Now, I know that you're mindful. I know you pay attention. But I feel like there's a message that is trying to come to you. And it might be in a weird way. I don't know what that way might be. But just make sure you're being extra mindful, if that makes sense to you. On Sunday nights at 8 p.m., Tiffany White Sagewoman has an amazing show, Spiritual Insights. You guys should check that one out as well. All of the Goldylocks shows are just amazing. I love every single one. I watch them all. You'll always see me in the comments unless, like a couple weeks ago, we didn't have power. And I missed Carol Ann's show. Joyce said that mouthful from me was a little confusing. To me, too. Oh, you're good, Joyce. You're good. Okay. Lenka. Let's see what we have for you, Lenka. Ooh, number 18. The power of purpose. The power of purpose. And we like to feel like we have a purpose, even if that purpose is getting up every day and taking care of our animals. And our life can feel a little bit off kilter when we no longer feel like we are of purpose. I don't feel like this is so much about your purpose as far as why you came here, but this is more about feeling purposeful or purposefully on a daily basis. There's a lot of power in that. It helps us to want to go on. It helps us to want to get up in the morning. Have you ever had something happen in your life and you get up, like you're laying there next morning and you're like, I don't even have a reason to get up. No, we do. You have to, you are your purpose. You are the reason that you get up. You are the reason that you do what you do. So I hope that makes sense to you, Linka. Sarah. Let's see what we have for Sarah. Number 13, Sarah. Feeling the world. Wow. I feel like you are feeling a lot of stuff right now. A lot of things from other people, a lot of energy in general, which is, with all of this, the Schumann resonance, the solar flares, who knows what's going on the planets, because we have all this other stuff that we've been paying more attention to. But I feel like a lot of things are you feel sometimes really bombarded or overwhelmed. Just try to work through that. Try to know that a lot of that stuff isn't yours. You do not have to take it. You do not have to carry it. So I hope that resonates with you, Sarah. Lenka says, hope I'll remember your message when the time comes. Thank you. You're welcome, Lenka. And I'm just curious, Lenka, have you started on that letter yet? I know we've mentioned that a couple of times. Heidi, what do we have for you? Number 34, and it says opening to discovery. I feel like you are learning some new things about yourself. You are discovering some new things about yourself. Please make sure to keep an open mind, keep an open heart, be willing to see things differently than maybe you have previously. Just keep that mind open and know that different things that are going to start coming into your orbit are for your best and highest good. So I hope that resonates with you, Heidi. Sam, what do we have for you? Sam. Let's see. Oh, Sam, you got the same card as Carol Ann. Number 1, Earth Magic. Spend some time in nature. Feel how healing nature is. Whether it's the sun on your face, the wind in your hair, walking barefoot on the grass, swimming, anything that you can do outdoors is going to be very beneficial and very healing for you. You're welcome, Sam. So I hope that resonates with you. But I feel a lot of nature. Devin, you got number 28. It says broken, open. I feel like you are doing some healing. I feel like in the past, whether this was just a certain specific situation, but I feel like there's been some kind of a breakthrough. And sometimes that can feel like us falling apart when we have a breakthrough. I can totally understand that. I've had breakthroughs that have, taken me like to the floor. Just, it was so overwhelming and monumental. So if that's the case, you're having some kind of a breakthrough like that, know that that's all part of the healing process. It's all part of the healing. So work through whatever it is, and you're going to come out the other side of it, and you're going to feel more whole. You're going to feel more, things are going to feel more adhesive. I think that's the word. So I hope that makes sense to you, Devin. I want to thank everybody. You are so welcome, Sarah. You're welcome, Sam. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Oh, this is my last show for May. So next week is going to be June. We're getting into June. So everybody have a great week. I love you all. Good night, everybody.